Welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here with us, hanging out inside the Great Lakes Honda City studios. Great Lakes Honda City coming to you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great Lakes Honda City, perfect for this weather. When you are out there in central and upstate New York, you understand very well that if you have one vehicle, it needs to be good in the snow. And if you have any more than one, you got whatever and a CRV. Whatever and your Ridgeline or your Pilot, whatever it may be, you get those vehicles that you know are going to be good in the snow, strong in the snow. There's a reason why I got a CRV many years ago, and I'm driving around central and upstate New York, and I'm like, man, I feel like everybody bought a CRV. So make sure you get the product that is great on gas mileage and just, I've told you before, saved my life when I was hit by a drunk driver, arguably. So make sure you go over to Great Lakes Honda City, experience them today, experience the awesome Honda product and the wonderful team at Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. You can get a sneak peek of their inventory to buy and lease. There's new and used vehicles on GreatLakesHondaCity.com waiting for you to see them today and take them home. We're up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around that spinning rock we call Earth on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. So thanks for hanging out with us. And, of course, once we go live, we jump into the archives, Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. And a big time thanks to our Central and Upstate New York partners. Our team is stacked with some amazing people. I like my squad. Great Lakes Honda City, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, GG Cards and Breaks, Myers Creek, say what's up. We were there yesterday, and we were at the Wildcat yesterday, and we were connected to GG Cards and Breaks yesterday. So, like I told y'all, we put our money where our mouth is here on the show. Brian's Landing, food is fantastic. Just made some awesome salmon Florentine over there. The video's up. It's been doing tremendous, probably because your taste buds were running you over to 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville to Brian's Landing. Head out there tonight. Get a nice dinner, right? Nice place to go on a date, bring the family, bring your kids. It's a great go with the guys, go with the girls. And they're doing their Galentine's thing for Valentine's Day. You know, if you don't have a date, you can do it. I think they should do Galentine and Palentine. I think they should have like a Palentine Valentine's Day thing so that the guys can just go out and hang out and relax. But you know what? Maybe Palentine's Day is what we do anyways, right? You know, as gentlemen, we just go out, watch some college basketball right now, right? Grab some drinks, some food, hang, have a good time. Maybe do a little trade night. We're going to talk about that today. Be ready for that because we had a great one. Chick-fil-A Cicero. Shout out to the first Chick-fil-A in Central New York. My salute to Jim Sikowski and the crew. Ma and Pa's the snack capital of the world. Why would you watch anything or go anywhere without Ma and Pa's snacks? Seriously. It's like going into an amusement park, and then it's amusement park for your taste buds. Sweet, savory, taste buds you didn't even know you had. They all go to Ma and Pa's. 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare. Pizza Man, Chick-fil-A in DeWitt. Mother's Cupboard, the home of my breakfast sandwich, Avicoli's K-9 Campground Dog Boarding, Game Point Sports Complex, and our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Binghamton University. You see the B and you already know. Shout out to Binghamton and what they're doing, and shout out to Bearcat Nation. With that being said, we have a bonus DT and Murphy. We started the week and ended the week, and we did it with white on the ground. However, it was sand for me on Monday, and it's snow for me on Friday. Murphalation Station came up to hang out. So he was with me via the Zoom when I was down bringing the broadcast to you live from Miami, Florida on game day of the College Football Playoff 2026 National Chip between Miami and Indiana. And now he is back with me at the end of the week, bookending it. I think it's all too fitting because he came up to visit the wonderful Central New York area. Had his first ever GG Cards and Breaks trade night at the Wildcat. He had fun. I had fun. We broke bread. We hung out. And he doesn't know this, but this is important. When Lily comes over to you without you having to like beg her to or pick her up and get her to do it. When she comes over and she jumps up on you and it's like, have a good trip, Murph, that means she thinks you're good people. So that's important. More important in my opinion. So with that being said, let's bring Murph in here. Murph, how we doing?
Doing good, dude. I honestly wish I had the time to stay for us to do this in the studio. But I have an event in Jersey today at 3 o'clock, and it's a 3-hour drive home, and then it's another hour and however long to get there. So unfortunately, I can't, but it's still fun to get to talk with you, and it's going to make my drive feel just a little bit shorter, which is even better.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. And shout out to Bobby King out here. Always super supportive and wonderful. Always been good to me. So I'm glad that everyone had a wonderful time at trade night, because Bobby just said we all had fun at trade night. So shout out to Bobby.
Yeah.
We are going to be discussing that and more. We're going to be running through the things that we typically do on a Friday on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You'll see them up on the right side of your screen right now. We will have the annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt, where I get to flip out about something in a fun way. We will go into lead, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver is the acronym, presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero. We'll present to you our top dog of the week. Murph will have one, I'll have one. Proudly presented by K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare. We'll get into GG Cards and Breaks trade night. And amidst all this, we'll talk about the college football playoff, because today is the day they decide if they're going to stay at 12, go to 16, or go to 24. You do not want to miss my conversation with Rich Clark, the executive director of the college football playoff, the head person of the college football playoff. I had the opportunity to have a one-on-one discussion with him following the Champions news conference celebrating Indiana the morning after the game, and also the handoff news conference with Miami handing off the CFP to the site it will be at for the upcoming 2026-27 season, which is Las Vegas, Nevada. So you do not want to miss my conversation with Rich Clark, executive director of the college football playoff, who told me, hey, we're making a decision. 12, 16, 24. One of those three will be decided today, Friday, January 23rd. And if it happens during the show, we'll be ready to let you know and to talk with you about it. So a lot of great stuff coming up. Murph and I are going to do the annoying moment of the week, but we can't do it without its proper introduction.
Dan Tortora proudly brings you...
Is that for real? Are you kidding me?
The annoying moment of the week.
I really honestly, I don't know how to respond to this.
Presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street. It's what happy tastes like.
Do you have to be that crazy? I guess so. My annoying moment of the week for this week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt. I got different ones I can go to, but here's my thing, okay? And I'm not going to regurgitate something that I already said about the airline stuff. My mom, for Christmas, because my mom and my dad, they listen. They listen. And I appreciate people that listen intently. And it was like, because it was funny. They normally ask me what I want for Christmas, but they didn't. They asked me like once, and then they didn't ask me again. And then they got me stuff that like is very helpful for me and my job. So my mom got me a duffel bag that has wheels on it, so I can travel with my carry-on, put a bunch of stuff in it, but I don't have to carry it, and have that on my neck and on my back and all that stuff. So I got this new bag. I've traveled with it a few times. Right after Christmas, really, I've traveled with it for the college football playoff. So it's come with me to Dallas, Fort Worth, Miami, Atlanta, and back to Miami, and all the places in between. Something broke out, like there's screws in the bottom of the bag, which you don't know that they're there, but I think they have stoppers on them. Well, the stoppers ripped off, which I don't understand how they could. Unless it was how it was, unless it was how it was potentially handled, because the wheels are on the bottom, the stoppers are on the top. That top doesn't hit the ground, and I definitely wasn't dragging it across the ground at any given point. And so there was an exposed screw that cut my finger while I was trying to put it in the overhead compartment. So, however those things broke off, that was an annoying moment. I'm not going to say who did or didn't do it. I just want to fix it. So I don't know how it happened, but it happened. I'm hoping it wasn't the airline because I've had bags messed up before. So they punched a hole in a bag before. I don't even know how they could do that. There was like a hole in the bottom of my bag. But yeah. So, and also, when we get carry-ons, our intent is to carry them on the plane. That's the definition. So I'd love to be able to do that because this specific bag has been with me, and they've had me check the bag twice. One airline had me check the bag. It came out wet, damp, and my clothes in it were wet, and now I have to do dry cleaning that I think the airline should pay for. Secondly, I just came back from Miami, got to the Syracuse airport, and I don't know who these grounds people are, but I pray that you start treating my bag like it's your bag. And it came into the carousel on the belt, opened. The bag was open. So my flight was 3 hours late, and then when I got my bag was open. And I guess Isaac's experienced this before. He goes, my bag was open too when he got off an airline. He's like, I was looking at the belt and I was going, he's like, whose clothes are all over the belt? And then he realized they were his. So please, I think the bigger picture here for the annoying moment of the week presented by Carvel DeWitt is how you treat people is how you eventually get treated. What goes around comes around. Like, if you treat other people's stuff with care, then, hopefully that'll all come back around to you. But there's something to be said about treating people's stuff like, well, if it's not mine, then who cares about it? And that's a horrible way to treat life. So that's my annoying moment of the week. Murph, I don't know if you have one, but you can also comment on mine. So take it away.
I do have one. So these two are things that you told me about over the couple of days that I was with you.
Yeah.
And the open bag thing is just bizarre to me. Clearly somebody was looking in it or looking through it or something. That bag doesn't just open on its own. Somebody clearly opened it. It's just a matter of how and why. So the $1 million question is, was anything missing?
Not that I know of. But the other thing too is when the bag was wet with the other airline, I could also tell that somebody opened it because the straps that were Velcroed together were separated and the zippers were in a different place. And I had something in there that was given to us from the Cotton Bowl, and it was still in there. But I'm just thinking to myself, what are people doing? And like I said to my dad, I go, why is my bag wet? Like, did you leave it out in the snow? And then he was like, no, he said, somebody dropped that in water. Like, that bag doesn't get like that because it was just sitting out while there was snowflakes falling. So, and if it was me and I dropped the bag, I would literally go out, let the people know, like, hey, I dropped a bag. I just want you guys to know that there's a bag that's wet and whatnot. I would tell them, and I would even go as far as writing a note to the person that it happened to, telling them who to contact, telling them the email to reach out to the airline for. I could not just screw somebody's bag over and then just go, well, they're never going to see me because I'm behind this curtain. I can't live in a life where I do something crappy to somebody and I just keep it moving, hoping that they don't know it's me.
That's what airlines do, man. That is what they do. But mine's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
I think you could probably take a guess at what it is.
Yeah.
Tops.
Yeah.
Your quality control sucks. If you haven't seen my Instagram, or I posted a video on TikTok too, I opened a box of Topps Chrome Update. We went to Barnes & Noble, grabbed a couple of boxes. The Prism boxes, they weren't good, but they were perfectly fine. The Topps Chrome Update box, 10.
Yeah.
Just base cards, but still, were horribly off center. To the point where we were overlapping onto another card.
Yeah.
It is the single worst quality of cars that I have ever opened in my life. So Topps, do something about this. That was absurd. Absolutely absurd.
It was wild. It was wild to see it. I mean, like it's one of those things, and we're kind of talking about similar things here because like when I see my bag open or I see my bag wet, you're like, are you friggin' kidding me? Like, what the hell happened? Like, how did people do this? And when I saw Topps cards that Murph got, I was like, this has got to be this, like, where's Ashton Kutcher? Like, we have to be getting punked right now. This has to be, like, where are the impractical jokers? Like, there's got to be something going on right now with this because the cards were so badly cut. It looked like they left a monkey in the lab and he was just going, like, and he was just like knocking things down and stuff. Like, it was such a weird, like, he showed me one of them and I'm like, okay, maybe my eyes are just seeing something and it's not real. Maybe I'm, because I'm just tired and I've traveled a lot. And then you see more of them and you're just going like, this isn't real. Like when my bag came through the belt and it was open, my eyes looked at it and my brain goes, that's not real. And it was the same exact response I had to Murph's cards from Topps. I was like, there's no way that they let those go out like that. But they did.
10 cards out of a 24 card box looked like that.
Yeah.
That is just absolutely atrocious. And honestly, if I had to add a second, the fact that I'm currently driving through snow, which I was not expecting. I know we're getting, I don't think you're supposed to get much up here.
Yeah.
But at home, somebody completely slid off the road. Oh my.
Yeah.
But at home, we are expecting somewhere between 1 and 2 feet of snow.
Yeah.
That's not something that we normally get. That's a Buffalo thing. So we're hunkering down. I got an event tonight. I'm probably going to go see. I might take a ride up to Scranton for a card show tomorrow. And then Saturday night when I get home, my event for Sunday, we already moved. I think we're most likely going to move our staff fitting event from Monday to next week. But at this point, I'm hoping that I'm just home.
Yeah.
And, if we do end up canceling the staff event and, the snow stops on Monday, I will probably grab my snowboard and go up to the mountain. But, yeah, I'm not completely holding my breath on that. We got to kind of see what, I know my boss is talking with the place that we're going to be doing it at later today just to see what they want to do. But we got, 30 guys that are probably going to be traveling from all over the place to, North Jersey. And if we do still have more snow coming down, and it seems like we're going to, it might not be the smartest plan. So, just for for everybody's safety, I think it's a good idea to move it, but that's not my call. So, we'll make that call when we get there, and I'm assuming we're making a call today about what to do there. But yeah, I was not expected to be driving through snow at the moment. I checked the weather before I left this morning, and I thought we were going to be fine. I guess not, but it's slowing down though. There's definitely some snow on the road because we definitely got some snow last night.
Yeah.
Because your car's covered, mine was covered, so we got a little bit, and then we got trucks in the left lane that are driving faster than me with the snow on the ground.
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing is, and be careful, because 81, there has been many times that I've been on 81 where somebody has been off the road, flipped over, one van looked like an accordion. So just make sure that
I just passed one.
Yeah.
A couple miles ago.
Got to make sure you stay safe. I was in a
I turned on the 4-wheel drive.
Yeah.
So
well, and on a
I got 4-wheel drive, but I don't got 4-wheel stop. So we'll see.
Well, and I would say that there was a time where I was coming home. I think it was 2008. And it was a terrible, terrible snowstorm, and it was like a blizzard. Like if you were sitting on the highway, the snow would just like fall and start to cover your tire while you were just sitting there. And it wasn't long for that. It was absolutely insane. We were stopped on the highway like it was a parking lot, and it was crazy. And I remember I was coming home, and I'm on 81, and I was coming from Scranton because I went to school at Marywood University, and so did Murph. And I'm coming back to Syracuse, and this 18-wheeler, I see him coming. I'm going around a bend on 81. I'm in the right lane. He's in the left lane. He comes flying up and literally comes around and curves. Now, an 18-wheeler can jackknife if you're driving like an idiot. If you're driving like an idiot in bad weather, it's a lot easier. He could have literally flown off, like we were coming up a hill, and he could have flown off this thing. He could have flown right off the highway. And there's one that did break the barrier and roll down and almost go into the other side of 81, going the other way. So this guy came around. I had to drive into a snowbank because he almost drove me off the road. And as I'm driving forward, this guy is running toward me, waving his hands, and I'm looking at him like through my windshield being like, what are you doing? Get out of my way. Like, you can see that I don't really have complete control of this. Like, get out of the way. And then he's like, he looks at me. I was like, bro, that guy almost drove me off the road. He's like, I know, I saw him. They've been doing that. And he was off the road. So just be careful. I will tell you this. Whatever you see in the weather forecast has nothing to do with Cortland. Cortland could have a snowstorm in July. Because I don't, and I tell people, I go, I don't know what happened with Cortland. I don't know what type of witchcraft was there that God was like, we ain't having it. But Cortland will have fog when everybody else, they'll have fog, rain, and snow, and it'll be 80 in Binghamton. It's like the wildest thing, but so just be careful out there. But the annoying moments of the week, Murph and I bringing them to you, not fairly cut cards and people just not making the cut when it comes to customer service in the airline industry. So that's what we're bringing you here this morning for the annoying moment of the week. We're going to take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back, Murph and I will jump into LEAD, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver. That is the acronym. God helped me create it. And when was it created? 2019, toward the tail end, right before what happened? COVID. God knew that this message had to be carried out this way, and he brought me the idea. And Jim Rusakowski and I, we started working on it. We've had a ton of fun with it. A lot of great stuff coming up where sports meets life. Don't you dare move. We will be back momentarily on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, having some more fun right here inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Stay with us. And now a message from Myers Creek Brewing Company, with locations at their Cazenovia Farm Brewery, Syracuse Inner Harbor Tap Room, and soon-to-be Lake Placid Tap Room.
Well, I think first and foremost, the Feldmeyer family and our team are extremely passionate about what we do. We care very much about what we do. The Feldmeyer family is always investing. Our taproom management team, our brew management team, our marketing management team, and all of the team members that get after it every day, they leave it on the field. They put their heart and soul into it. I know for a fact that everyone that works at Myers Creek wants to be there, and we want them to be there. You know, we want them to feel good about their job. And again, if you've never been to a Myers Creek, especially to the brewery, I mean, I want your eyes to open really big. I want you to see how big of a brand this is. I want you to see where we're going. The sky is the limit, and I feel very proud of that, and I'm very excited about that. When you think of designing a menu for a brewery, it's kind of open to a lot of different interpretations. I mean, you can do American, you can do Asian, you can do Italian, and you just have to find, how that meets that pub style dining experience, that gastropub vibe. And I think it's super fun for us because obviously we know that, everyone in the world is going to sell a pizza or a burger or a french fry, but what can we do to be different? And what can we do to be true to who we are? We are a brewery, a brew pub. So the flavor profiles are kind of all over the place. place. And I think it's super cool that we have a massive smoker at the brewery in Casanova, and we smoke a lot of our products. A delicious smoked turkey. We have barbecue ribs on Sundays. From a pulled pork sandwich to a chicken wing. You go to the Inner Harbor and you go to the Cas location and you'll find similarities in the menu, but also things that are a little different and also kind of fit those different demographics or different communities, and also hopefully just drive you to try every tap room that we have open at some point, because you get a little something different at each one. We understand how hard it is to, work every day and get after it every day, and when you're done at the end of your day, you want to go out and put your feet up in a good ambiance and good environment. So we take pride in that. We make sure that everyone knows that they're very much valued to us.
Avicoli's restaurant, located on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York, has been serving our community for decades. Your place to go for home cooking on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road is just minutes from Liverpool High School. And every single month, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is on site, on location, with Liverpool sports, student athletes, coaches, and administration telling their stories throughout the year. We look forward to seeing you on site at Avicoli's for their casual pizza side, their fine dining, as well as their bar. And of course, you can order online at myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. For takeout, delivery, and catering, call 315-622-5100. That's 315-622-5100. Come on in to the neighborhood spot Avicoli's, open 7 days a week in Liverpool, New York. K-9 Campground Dog Boarding is your home away from home for your furry-loving friends. Open 7 days a week with drop-off and pickup times in the morning and later on in the day and early evening. K-9 Campground Dog Boarding is the spot to trust with your dog for short and long-term stays. Call 315-299-4013 for more information. That's 315-299-4013, and go to k9campground.com as well. That's K9, ground.com, where you will find all of the information on their different cabins, which include the classic cabin, executive cabin, grand cabin, and luxury cabin. K-9 Campground Dog Boarding, where your dog will have indoor and outdoor areas as well as their own private cabin for any size, any breed, as well as dogs with different needs. Dog parents and dogs alike choose K-9 Campground Dog Boarding. Isn't that right, Lily? Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Hope you're having yourselves a wonderful morning this morning. We're bookending things this week, and Murph, who joins me on Mondays on Wake Up Call, is also joining me here on a Friday. We started it in Miami, and we brought it out here to Syracuse, New York. Happy to be here with you. We're going to be talking about the college football playoff future, as today is the decision day. You can go back and watch my conversation with Executive Director Rich Clark on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, and Instagram at wakeupcall_DT. You can also see that and so much more by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and watch over 150 videos in our college football playoff coverage on Wake Up Call. That playlist is on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. It's time for Murph and I to get into Lead, Learn, Evolve, Adlib, and Deliver. This acronym presented to you by Chick-fil-A Cicero, the first Chick-fil-A in Central New York, and owned and operated by the wonderful, incredible, hardworking, and fighter that I know, Mr. Jimmer Sikowski. Today's topic is a blessing comes in different ways. A blessing comes in different ways. What do I mean by that? Well, sometimes, right, you open up a pack of cards and you say, I really want this card. And then you get it. And you're like, man, what a blessing. That's so cool. That's so amazing. You know, I would always look up if I got a card I want. I'm like, thanks, God. Like, that was one I really want. I can't believe I got it, right? That's a blessing that you see because you asked for something and it happened. You say, God, please don't let it snow today. I got a big time event, or my birthday's tomorrow. Please help the weather to be nice. And it is. And you go, wow, what a blessing. But there's other times where something's a blessing and it doesn't necessarily look like one or feel like one. And those are the moments where you say, hey, God, I want to date that girl. Hey, God, I want to marry that man. Hey, God, I really want that job. And God says what we perceive to be nothing. She never called me back. He ghosted me. I called that job 37 times. They didn't even bother to return one of my phone calls. Man, I asked God for a blessing. He gave me nothing. Did he? Did he give you nothing? They say God has 3 answers to everything that you ask him for. Yes is one of them. Not right now is another one. And the third one is no, because I have something better planned for you. I have lived through the yes, the not right now I'm living through and have lived through for many years, and the no, I got something better. The no, I have something better was when I had a long-standing relationship with an organization and they hired new people who treated me like garbage when I was a total stranger to them. And my mom said to me, if God closes a door and he won't let you open it, and no matter what you do everything right, everything you need to do, give them everything they ask for, give them more than what they ask for, and they still say no, pray on it, hard work, dedication, determination, respect, and it still doesn't work. She said, as much as you want to be here, honey, that's God telling you he needs you somewhere else. And you have to listen to him. He's redirecting you. And what happened? God put me in a place I never thought I was going to be in. And he's continued to. So I have had the, hey, God, can I have a nice day on my trip to Disney? And I did. Hey, God, can I get on this ride, even though I know it's going to be difficult? God's always worked it out. Always. But I've also had, hey, God, I want nothing more than to be a husband and a father. And he said to me, okay, you wanted that at 25. Okay? You didn't listen to me. And you didn't listen to me. And you dated that, and you dated that, and you married that, and you went over here, and you did over, and you went over there, did this, did that. I don't have that for you right now. Well, God, I want to do it before I'm 40. I don't care when you want to do it. That's not my plan for you. And I finally started listening. And then I just gave you an example of him going, yeah, I'm not going to bring you over here. I know it's going to hurt. I know you miss it. I know you're sad about it. But I'm going to make it better. I'm going to take the thing that you think you have to be at, and I'm going to give you something that you never thought you were going to be at. You believe in yourself. You have faith in yourself. You work hard. You're not going to take no for an answer. You're going to keep pushing. But did you really think you were going to be standing on this field at this thing in this moment? No, that wasn't on your radar. I put it there because I wanted it there. So for all of you to know, a blessing comes in different ways. It comes sometimes in what you asked for. It comes sometimes with time. And it doesn't come because something else needed to happen. We needed to grow. We needed to learn. He needed us somewhere else. I can point to so many examples where God redirected me, and if he didn't, I wouldn't own my house. I wouldn't have my dog. I wouldn't have come back to Syracuse. I wouldn't have started my company when I did. There are so many examples of me saying, God, please give me this, or show me the way. And see, that's a prayer that I pray now. It's not, God, give me this, without saying, your will over my want. You get to decide. This is what I want. This is what I hope for. This is what I'm aspiring to have. But I want your will to trump me. I am telling you that everything I'm praying for and asking for and putting my energy into, if you want something else, you can strip me of all of this and send me in a different direction. I am at your mercy. I am showing you humility and being humble. This is what I want. You can take it all. I told God, I would love you underneath 81, living in a box with my dog in the rain, having people spit on me as they walk by. Because if they can crucify your son, I can take living in the rain. So, to me, it's not so much saying, God, this is what I want. It's saying your prayers and what you hope for and what matters to you. And yes, what you would like to have in your life. But it's adding into your prayers, God, give me what I need. And help what I need and what I want to line up with each other. Help me to get to a place where I'm asking for things I want and they're things that I need. Don't let those be mutually exclusive. Another prayer is saying, God, guide me and guard me. Guide me toward you, guard me from what is not. You know what I prayed to God when I was at the College Football Playoff National Championship? You know what prayer I added? I said, God, I would rather suffer with you than succeed without you. I would rather crawl with 2 broken legs in the right direction than walk with a skip in my step in the wrong one. And that's the whole your will over my want. It's a dangerous, dangerous prayer to tell God, here is everything I ask for. But I am saying to you that my faith will accept no as long as you don't leave me. See, what we really have to say to God above everything else is whatever you do or you don't do, whatever you answer or don't answer, however you answer, whatever happens, don't leave me. There was 2 people that were crucified next to Jesus. That story's not talked about a lot. But recently somebody brought it up to me. Might be the first time somebody ever brought it up to me that wasn't a priest. And they said, you know those 2 sinners that were next to Jesus? One of them was kind of, staying negative. All right, Jesus, if you actually are who you say you are, free yourself, free us, let's get out of here. What are we doing? The other one looked at him and said, forgive me for my sins. And don't forget me when you come into your kingdom. And what did Jesus say to the one that believed in him? That man was suffering next to Jesus. Jesus says, I'm the Son of God, but I'm not jumping off this thing. I'm not saving myself, and I'm not saving you the way you think. But if you believe in me, I will save you better than what you perceive saving to be. And what did Jesus say? And I'm paraphrasing because I don't know the exact words, but what did Jesus say back to the man that believed? He said, today you and I will live in paradise. It's a hard thing to be up on a cross, sweating, bleeding, waiting to die, and have somebody say, I have the power of God. I am the Son of the Most Holy. I can literally walk on water, but I'm not going to save you from this cross, and I'm not going to save myself. But if you believe in me, what's coming is better than the pain you feel. And going back to that story of me wanting to go in this one direction and banging my head against the wall, God was saying to me, what's coming is better than where you think you need to be. You have to trust me. I'm not going to save you so I can save you. In order to show God we believe in him, we have to show him when times are tough. What do people say when they stop believing in God? Well, my grandfather died when I was little, so I don't believe in God, because why would he do that to me? Well, my mom had cancer, and I saw her go through hell, so why would I believe? My dog got hit by a car. Why would I believe? Why would God let any of these things happen? He obviously isn't real, because he didn't give me $1 million. We're not all healthy. Life isn't perfect, so he sucks. Are any of your friends perfect? Have you ever been at a job where every day is perfect? Have you ever driven on a road and there's not a bump? Well, Dan, God's above all that. He is. But he also allowed himself to be human. He allowed himself to suffer. God could have stayed in heaven, we stay on earth, and never the two shall meet. Right? This could have been a lot different. But why would God put himself into a human body if not to feel the pain and suffering and understand us? You ever say the phrase walk a mile in somebody else's shoes? He lived a life in somebody else's shoes, died at 33, which is very young, unless you were born in 1890, and he suffered worse than any of us will. For what reason? Why would God allow himself to feel pain? How does a being of perfection allow himself to suffer when he doesn't have to? So when we perceive our lives as suffering, where's the message in that? Where is the message in the pain? There were things that happened to me on the road in the college football playoff where God broke me down to show me I am the only one that can give you strength when you don't have it. I am the only one that can open doors that you can't. I am the only one that can change your situation when it's out of your control. I cannot tell you how many times God showed me, you are small, I am your God, and I have the power. You don't. We don't want to believe that as human beings. And I'm not saying don't be strong, don't have self-worth, don't care about yourself, don't think of yourself as small, don't have self-esteem. I'm not, or think of yourself as small and have no self-esteem. I'm not saying that. I'm saying God will humble you to build you. What did God allow to happen to Job? He suffered, lost everything. He had everything, he lost it. And the devil said, I will make him curse your name. And God went, bet money. And Job never stopped talking to God. He kept believing. Things were happening to him, and he's having a conversation with God, right? I'm in pain. I don't run and sit by myself. I don't run to the devil. I'm still talking to you, God. Even if I'm saying, why is this happening? I'm still talking to you. And what did God do? He gave Job back everything that was taken from him and multiplied it. Because faith is never going to be shown without sacrifice and without suffering. How do you know somebody's your true friend? Unless they're willing to step in front of a bullet for you. Unless they're willing to defend you in a room that you're not in. You will never know if somebody truly, deeply loves you until they have an opportunity to stab you in the back and they don't take it. Or somebody says something and instead of being silent, they go, hey, you know what? That's my brother, man. Don't talk about him like that. Hey, that's my sis. I don't appreciate that. Talk about something else. Don't talk about that. Every man for himself, every woman for herself, that makes the world that we live in today. Hey, I'm just worried about me. Everybody wants to be protected, loved, supported, and have someone take a bullet for them. Who would you take a bullet for? If you say Stacy, Kim, Steve, Bob, and Joe need to take a bullet for me, would you take a bullet for them? You know how many people can't answer a question when you flip it? They tell you everything they want. When I'm going through dating, I will have girls give me a laundry list of everything they want. Do you think that they ask me what I want one time? And I'm sure men do that too. I'm speaking from my perspective. Do you know how aggravating not aggravating, but you know how much of a waste of time it is to tell somebody, hey, if I'm going to date you, you got to hit my 20 points on my checklist. They don't even bother to ask you what you care about. And why do I have to hit the 20 points on your checklist? Has anybody ever hit them? You know what I said to a girl one time? We had everything going for us. She said, but I don't feel a spark. I said to her, I go, out of curiosity, have you ever felt a spark with the wrong person? She goes, yeah. I said, okay, so we got all this good stuff going for us, but you don't have a spark. But you had a spark with people that were bad for you. How'd that work out? But I'm not in the business of selling myself to somebody. If you don't want to be here, my door is always open. I will disarm it, unlock it, and let you leave. You do not have to worry about me standing in front of that dang door. And because I learned my lesson. If somebody loves you, you don't got to stand in front of the door. And eventually, you got to go to bed. If they're going to leave, they're going to leave. So a blessing comes in different ways. You will only know those that God has sent when you open your door, unlock it, turn the security system off, and go to sleep. If they're there in the morning, God bless. If they ain't, God bless. Because a blessing comes in different ways. Murph, any thoughts on this topic?
I mean, you make a really good point. He does work in mysterious ways, and sometimes you might think you want one thing and it doesn't happen, and then something else comes up and it does, and you might be thinking, I'm going through this right now in potentially for a new job within TaylorMade, but I apply for one job. I really, really, really want it. Feel good about my chances. Don't get it. And then something better, I would argue something better has now come up. Haven't interviewed for it yet, but if I were to end up landing this one, it works out for the better. So, you're 100% right. It all comes in different ways. It comes in, different sizes and forms and different things that you're thinking about. You might, and like you said, you might think you want one thing, but in reality, you really wanted something else, and God knew that and got you to the something else, or paves the way for you to get to the something else.
Yeah.
For me with this job situation, it's definitely something that, I want. Quite frankly, I kind of need, in terms of like I'm still living at home. I don't like that. I can't afford to move out because I don't make enough money. This, I need to get some sort of, promotion in order to be able to move out of the house. Does that mean I'd be moving to, a little further south of Pennsylvania or down to Florida or North Carolina? Maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah.
That's for God to decide. But I think it's a great point, and one that I've kind of been thinking about over the course of about the last month, and we'll see if that does end up coming to fruition, then that'll be a perfect example.
Yeah, I mean, he comes to us the way that he comes to us, and we, to show our true faith and belief in God, we have to render ourselves powerless. We can do everything we can do, but then we have to leave it to him. You don't sit on the couch and just hope and wish, and you don't just pray. You have to pray with purpose. You have to pray with motion. You have to pray in motion, right? What do I mean by that? Pray and then do something, right? I don't say to God, hey, I want to be credentialed at the college football playoff, and then not talk about it on my show, not do the work, not substantiate what I'm doing, not build credentials, build relationships. All of this comes from years upon years. This comes from having conversations with people and doing things that I had a conversation with somebody at the college football playoff that showed me that there are people paying attention to the things that I am doing and that have nothing to do with the playoff. There are people that have been watching my work that I did not even know. You know what he said to me after media day? I told him, I said, bro, I'm so hype right now. And I slapped his hand and I gave him a hug. I was like, this is like me. This is my football game. Is coming here and going up and building these relationships, doing my questions, not letting anybody tell me no. I'm breaking through the barrier. I'm building these relationships. I'm connecting with people. I'm laughing. I'm having fun. I'm talking about things that are important to me. I'm being me on this stage. I don't care what stage it is, how big it is, where it is. You turn the lights on, let's go. I don't care where I am. Let's do it. I'm me. I love God. I love myself. I love what I do, and I do what I love. I am here. I look up at God, and it's like, God already knows. It's slap hands. Let's go. Those lights come on. We do the intro. God says you're on the court. You're on the field. I'm ready to play. I was so hype after media day. I was like, man, that felt good. Yes. Flexing that muscle. Feeling that, right? I hope you all get to do a job where you flex your muscle, where you feel like proud of yourself. You feel strong in it. And you don't let anybody keep you down. Because it doesn't matter what they say, because it's outside noise and it belongs outside by definition. So leave it there. Don't let outside noise inside. So it ends. I slap hands with him. I give him a hug. I'm so hype. I'm like, dude, I got to do all these interviews. I'm so excited. I was like, I'm amped. I want to jump up and down. You know the last thing he said to me before he walked away? He said, 19, baby. And I said, that's right. And then I thought to myself, 19? What's 19? And I kept running it through my head. 2 days go by almost. And I'm talking to him. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was about 2 days. The night before Murph and I did the show on Monday on Championship Day for the college football playoff, I was getting all my interviews ready to air them in our broadcast. And that was an awesome broadcast. Guys, you got to go watch that broadcast for sure. Everybody. Had so much fun doing it with Murph. I was doing my interviews, and then I looked at the list of people, and I counted how many that I got to speak with at Media Day. What was that number? 19. When he slapped my hand and said, 19, baby, he told me in a very subtle way, there's all these media people here. I'm running around. I'm doing a bunch of different things. There's a bunch of things I can pay attention to. I counted how many people you interviewed here today. That's insane. Why would somebody ever pay that much attention? What did my parents always tell me? You never ever know who's watching. So you got to make sure you're on all the time. My dad said, hey, people are going to hate you, say what they want to say. Don't give them a reason. Don't ever give somebody a reason to be right. Don't. You never know who's watching. Don't give them a reason in a negative way. And I lived that a few days ago, which has told me in my chest, get right where you're wrong and keep doing what you're doing that you feel like it's working and God's shown you that it has. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to control what you can and be ready for your blessings and understand that sometimes God goes, you say, oh, God, I got to have that girl. Oh, man, she's amazing. She loves sports. She's beautiful. She's kind. She's same religion as me. You know, we got this awesome connection. We dance well together. We like the same music. Lily loves her. And he looks at me and he goes, no. And I go, why, man? Look at her. And he says, because if you date her, you ain't going to leave here. And if you don't leave here, you're not going to go where I need you to go. And if you don't go where I need you to go, you're not going to meet these people. And if you don't meet these people, you're not going to meet those people from those people. Then you're not going to meet those other people from those people of those other people. And then if you don't meet all these people, you're not going to work with these businesses. If you don't work with these businesses, you're not going to build this way. If you don't build this way, you're not going to get to these people that I need you to talk to. Because God will take you way off the path you think you're supposed to be on to go do something you never thought you were going to do. And I'll promise you this, you can pray all you can pray and have faith and trust in him and tell him exactly what you want. And he knows what's on your heart even if you don't say it. Just acknowledge that he's there. Sometimes my prayer is, God, I feel like I don't have a breath right now, but I need you to know what I'm praying for, and I need to just sit with you. I need a hug right now. I need you to just be with me. Just hold me. God does not have the restrictions that human beings do. He don't get tired of you. He doesn't say, whatever, bro. I don't have time for that. He doesn't say, shut up, the game's on. He doesn't say, I'll do this if you do this. God doesn't come to you with the human condition, with the human ego. He comes to you with love. God is love. That's why I say this all the time. To all my atheists and agnostics out there and people that don't believe in anything, you believe in God. And they'd be like, no, I don't. Yeah, you do. Do you love your wife? Yeah, man. I wouldn't want anything to happen to her. That's my girl. Then you believe in God. Do you love your kids? Of course I love my kids. You believe in God. You love your job? Of course I love my job. You believe in God. How can I believe in God, Dan? I just told you that I don't. Because God is love. So if you know what it feels like to love anything, anyone, anywhere, you are witnessing and feeling the thing you don't believe in. If you love your wife, you believe in God. If you got your husband's back no matter what, you believe in God. God will find his way into your life while you're sleeping. And you wake up and you don't even know. But he is there. He doesn't leave. He doesn't get tired. He doesn't get weary. He doesn't get ornery. And he is not, I'm not a morning person. That's not God. You come pray to him in the morning, let's go. Pray to him in the afternoon, let's go. Pray to him at night, let's go. God does not need conditions in order to love you. So stop having conditions in order to love him. What'd I just say? God does not have conditions to love you. You got to be a certain height. You got to make a certain amount of money. He doesn't have those. You know what I think when people are dating and they say, I'm not going to date anybody under a certain height. I'm not going to date anybody I can't wear heels with. I'm not going to date anybody that doesn't have, 6 zeros in their, or, 6 figures in their bank account. I'm not going to date anybody that doesn't have a car like this. I'm not going to date anybody that can't pay for me. I pray for those people. Don't ever try to date me. If you tell God she's got to have this body, he's got to be this tall, she's got to like this, he's got to make that money, I'm going to promise you this. God will humble what you're asking for. Because you're not talking about their heart, their soul, how they treat people, their faith, or anything that has to do with his mission. You are being superficial, and God breaks superficial right out of your life. The more you go toward, hey, if she got a big chest and she's blonde and she smiles nice, you know what God's going to do? He's going to send you 25 brown hair girls till you get it right. Like, he does not accept conditions. God is never going to be in a hostage situation with you where you're going to give him a list on a napkin. And I think people pray that way and they don't believe in God because they're like, well, God's not negotiating with me. God doesn't negotiate. He made you. He could snap his fingers and you could be gone right now. He can also snap his fingers and make you love him like a zombie. God could have made us perfect, but then he wouldn't actually know if we loved him or each other. You realize how painful it is to be an almighty being who has the power to do whatever he wants, and he chose not to. We ask God for power, and we complain when he doesn't give it to us. When we want to control a situation, we want to control a person. Why can't they love me? Why can't they do this? Why can't they be here on time? Why can't they listen? Why does this person seem to never understand? God allowed that to happen to him. So why are you surprised that it happens to you? God allowed humanity to choose between love and hate, to choose between him and the devil, to choose between right and wrong, good and bad every day, where he could have simply just said, these are my creation, they will serve me. Instead, he said, these are my creation, and they may hurt me or they may love me, but I will let them choose. You know how hard it is to do that? So many of us want God to give us control and power. And he's the one that has the ability to control all of us. And he has all the power, and he doesn't use it. Who's more powerful? The one who has the power and makes everybody subdue and serve them? Or the person that has the ability to flip a switch and have all the power and doesn't flip it? See, people say the one that stays and fights and punches you in the face when you call them a name, that's the strong guy. That's the strong girl. It's the one who has their fist clenched, lets go of it, and walks away. Because that person that walks away from that fight, they're telling that other person, I'm not going to let you get in my head. I'm not going to let you succumb. I'm not going to let myself go to your level. You know what I do when I'm dating and somebody screams in my face? I stop talking. I was going back and forth with somebody trying to figure out if this is a relationship I wanted to be in. She texted me, F you. And not the F, the word. And I paused. And I looked at my phone. And I went, I'm done with this person. I'm done with this person. Because if you could say that to me once, that's not going to be the last time. God allows human beings to say F you or I love you. And he could snap his fingers and make us say what he wants us to say. So we want power over people, but if you date a robot, how do you know if they love you? If your boss is a robot, how do you know he would have actually hired you or she would have actually hired you? I'm with God on this one. It sucks. It's hard. It don't always work out. But every time somebody says to me, tell me what to say, tell me what to do, I have the same response every time. I don't want a robot. I don't want a robot. I'm not going to tell you what to say. That's what it is in this life now. What's your love language? I don't know if Murph's ever heard this. What's your love language? Are you a person who likes...
I don't even know what the heck. I don't even know what that means.
I'm going to tell you what it is. Acts of service is 1. Physical contact is 2. Communication is 3. And I don't know, there's other ones. But you know what I said in response to one girl? I don't think she liked it. But I told her, I go, all of them. She's like, well, then obviously that shows me that you don't know yourself and you're not in tune with yourself. I go, why would I want physical contact in a relationship where the woman doesn't communicate with me? Why would I want to communicate with a woman who isn't willing to do acts of service? Why? Oh, another one is like buying things, thinking of somebody. Why would I want somebody to not think of me, but be intimate with me? I said, whoever came up with the love languages is making a ton of money abusing and manipulating people. When in actuality, love is not a perfect science. There is no equation or formula to it. And if you pick one of the 5 ways to love somebody, you ain't loving them right. Do you think God says to us, communicate to me, but don't give acts of service? Do you think God is telling you to reach out and hold his hand, but he's not asking you to think of him? It's amazing how we can manipulate something so pure for money, for power, for control. All the love language stuff that's a racket. It's control. It sells a lot of books. Just because this is what I learned a long time ago. Just because a book is written doesn't mean that that's true. Right? Somebody will hand us something and we'll go, well, this has got to be the gospel truth. There's only one book that was ever written that tells the truth. And it sits next to my bed every night. The Holy Bible. Any other book? That's somebody else's interpretation of something. We'll take a step aside here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. Murph and I will be back to bring you our top dog of the week. Who makes the cut? K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare bringing it to you. This has been Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver. How a blessing comes in different ways. Remember, God will say yes, not right now, or no, because I have something better planned. And I am 40 years in to this life, and I can tell you in 4 decades that if I don't listen to him, 100% of the time, it don't go right. When I do listen to him, as hard as it is, I always end up talking about it on the show going, man, I'm happy I learned that lesson. So start listening and start realizing God doesn't love you with condition. So don't ask him for conditions to love him back.
Here's a message from Renee from Brian's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McInerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Brian and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Brian and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Brian's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Brian's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Life gets busy, and sometimes that means us running around. So K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare offers you an opportunity to give your dog a place to stay while you take care of what you need to throughout the day. K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare is located on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse, New York. You can see it from the highway, and it's just off of Erie Boulevard across from BJ's Wholesale Club. call 315-437-7110. That's 315-437-7110 to schedule an appointment to bring your dog in and tour the facility. Appointments are Monday through Thursday after 6:30, where you and your dog can see everything that K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare has to offer, including a self-serve dog wash and a retail store filled with all of your dog's wants and needs, including food, treats, harnesses, leashes, and more, making K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare your one-stop shop for your furry loving friend. Right, Lily?
What a perfect segue into the top dog of the week, proudly presented by the wonderful team at K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare. It's 10:21 in the morning. That's my birthday, and I love it. God shows me that number all the time, and I just want to say thank you, God, and I see you, and I appreciate that you see me too. Top dog of the week, proudly presented by the wonderful team at K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare and K-9 Campground. Dog boarding, of course, is right down the road where we get to do those videos with you. So short and long-term care, you know where to go. For the daily care, K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare, top dog of the week. Go to K-9 Kamp.com. And, of course, you can call the daycare for more information, 315-437-7110. That's 315-437-7110. Lorraine, Chad, and the team do a fantastic job at K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare, and they can't wait to see you, and you can't miss them because they are literally right off the highway, right off of Bridge Street, couple seconds from Erie Boulevard, very centrally located, and a wonderful place that loves your dogs and cares about your dogs, which is a very important thing when you're dropping them off. You want to make sure that whoever's taking care of them is truly treating them well, being good to them, and helping you have peace of mind that your dog is in a safe place, because these are our kids. These are our babies. They're not simply animals. They are family. So make sure you head over to K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare, 315-437-7110. That's 315-437-7110. Call them today. You can visit them on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse. And, of course, you can go to the website and get more information, K-9 Kamp.com. You can also go on to our website on wakeupcalldt.com, click on their logo, and you can get all their information there as well. With that being said, I will defer to Murph to give you his top dog of the week this week, and then I will give you mine. Murph, what do you got?
So, those of you that know the fact that oh wait, am I muted still? No, I'm not. Okay. I hit the mute button when we go to commercial just to, in case I hit like a bump or something like that, so that I'm not talking over the commercial. But those of you that know I'm a diehard Mets fan, I think it's pretty obvious who my top dog of the week is going to be, and that is the one and only president of baseball operations of the New York Mets, Mr. David Stearns. Now, granted, this overlaps into last week a little bit, but over the course of the last calendar week, we have signed Bo Bichette.
Yeah.
We have traded for Luis Robert Jr. and traded for Freddie Peralta. We have talked all offseason long about the fact that, Alonso goes to Baltimore and Diaz goes to the Dodgers, and you trade away Brandon Nimmo and trade away Jeff McNeil, and this team is looking very different, and you're thinking, what in the world is Stearns' plan here? And now we finally see it with, Bo Bichette going to be playing third base, and not sure what their plans particularly are going to be at first base. It sounds like it's still going to be Jorge Polanco, or maybe Brett Beatty gets some runway there. I don't know for sure, but then you finally go and get your ace in Freddie Peralta, and there's still, they could still end up with more. You never know. And now we're finally starting to, see the plan come to fruition as I officially have crossed back into my great home state of Pennsylvania. But yeah, the team finally looks like it's coming together. The roster looks deep. and I'm finally happy with what he's done. So I think David Stearns deserves some credit as my top dog of the week.
Yeah, and I can appreciate that and respect that. When I saw the Bo Bichette move, first thing I thought of was Murph, and I was thinking to myself, he's got to be happy right now. He's got to be happy with this.
Oh, yeah.
My top dog of the week for this week has to go to someone that I didn't know I was ever going to be around, didn't know I was ever going to spend some time with, didn't know I was ever going to have the opportunity to interview. He is someone who took something that other people may have walked by and said, yeah, that's not going to go anywhere. That's not going to be anything. There's no point in me taking time here because this place is never going to win. This place is never going to bring me a championship. We're never going to be at the top of the mountain. And I love the people that walk in somewhere and go, yeah, it ain't here yet, but I'm going to bring it here. We're going to work on it. We're going to get here. I'm going to find a way. This man came into a place that I did not think was ever going to be standing at the top of college football. I didn't think that they were going to stand at the top of their conference. I didn't think that they were going to win a conference championship because I didn't think they were going to play in one for a very long time. What Curt Cignetti has done in 2 years in Indiana, he's won. He has won consistently. And I think he's 27-2, which is the best record in FBS of any coach right now in the last 2 years. The work that he put forward, what he did at JMU, what he's done at Indiana, and if you go back farther to see his successes that, coaches that I spoke about, this is a guy who doesn't care about your stars. He cares about putting the right team together, having a plan, and having pieces that fit within that plan and a plan that fits those pieces. You don't win by accident. I will tell you that being around Curt Cignetti, being in the same room as him, talking with him, feeling his energy, looking that man eye to eye, he didn't stumble into this. He didn't coincidentally become a successful coach. He's not just good because it was random. You never hear me talk about stars on the show. You want to know why? Because I don't believe in it. I don't believe in saying that person deserves this more than that person. Somebody told me over the years that the star system is flawed. And I don't know if this is true or not, for sure. But they said to me, take a 5-star tight end. Guy's talented. He's got money. Family can travel. People in the community raise money and send him all over the place. He's gone to 15 prospect camps. He's talented, and he has access. He's a good 5-star kid. Then there's a kid in Utah who people aren't paying attention, not paying attention to the school, not paying attention to the state. Family doesn't have a lot of money. There's no boosters that are sending him anywhere. Nobody's making phone calls, and he's got to shoot his own videos. And he is a 1-star. You put him on the field with the 5-star guy, blew that guy out of the water. Why wasn't he a 5-star? Because he didn't have the same access, the same exposure. How many times have the American or Conference USA or Division II or Division I AA or Division III Jerry Rice, how many times has someone shown up somewhere as a 0, 1, or 2-star and all of a sudden becomes a 5-star? Someone who Texas didn't recruit, but Kennesaw State did, and now Texas wants them. Somebody who LSU didn't look at, but went to North Dakota State, and now they want to pay attention. Where did Trinidad Chambliss come from? Ferris State. Division II. And he just played in the college football playoff. So, was he a 5-star? Not if he's playing Division II football. If he was a 5-star quarterback, and it's no disrespect to Division II, if he's a 5-star quarterback, then he's playing Division 1A. The star system is flawed. Curt Cignetti is an example. Him and his staff and his team are examples of it ain't about the almighty dollar number one. It ain't about how many stars you have. It's about a team full of guys, and yeah, they use the transfer portal, but it's about putting a team together that's willing to go and get it out the mud. Indiana doesn't win because they spent a ton of money and that's it. Now, Fernando Mendoza had a good season at Cal, but I don't think that man was the highest paid quarterback in NIL.
He probably wasn't even the 20th highest paid.
So you look at that, right? There are so many things going on in collegiate athletics, and Curt Cignetti reminded us, if you can put a team together and you can get a bunch of people to work in the same direction, you can still win a championship. If you put a bunch of guys that were counted out, disrespected, underrepresented, Fernando Mendoza, not a 5-star, not an easy road. D'Angelo Pons, not a 5-star, not an easy road. Pat Coogan, was there with Notre Dame, left Notre Dame, came here, took a chance on himself, changed his direction. Roman Hemby, Kalon Black, Isaiah Jones. Riley Nowakowski went to Wisconsin, walked on at Wisconsin, and paid to go to school to play football, and then scored the first touchdown in the College Football Playoff National Championship 3 years later. And I met his teammate from Wisconsin who came to support him in Miami. Indiana is full of stories of people that were counted out, disrespected, underrepresented, underappreciated, left to die, and believed in themselves and their worth. And in God in multiple cases, hopefully all the cases. But, with Fernando, with some of the other guys, it's there. So my top dog of the week is Curt Cignetti, who reminded us at the beginning of this week that you can still get the job done if you care, you work hard, you're dedicated, you're consistent, and you get a bunch of people working together positively in the right direction. When I asked people about their coach, they smiled. They looked at him. If it's a business, they don't necessarily like that guy. If it's a family, man, I'm happy that guy gave me an opportunity, man. I'm happy he saw something. This team is filled with people that remind us all that no matter how much this world changes, some things will never change. Hard work, dedication, community, transparency, working together, belief in yourself, belief in the person next to you, dedication, faith, love, and the desire to go and do the tough stuff, to dig a little bit deeper. This isn't an NIL powerhouse. This is a team. A team that's not going to have to fight to get into rooms now when they're recruiting. Because success doesn't happen overnight, but when things come and things happen and you start to build things, you start to build that reputation. Nobody cares what happened for the last 100 years with Indiana football. All they care about is right now. And right now, Cignetti can walk into any room, have a conversation with anybody, and if he's transparent and he's honest and he's open and he's kind and he's real and he tells the truth, he's got a shot. But credit to him for having a shot in a room when he didn't have a championship, because now you go into a room, you got one, it helps you. But here's the irony. You go into a room with a championship, and now maybe you got a door open that wasn't open before. But before he won this championship, he got into those rooms without the title. He got into those rooms without the exposure, without the national and international coverage. Curt Cignetti got in the room without holding a CFP trophy. Now he's got one. Now he's even more dangerous. But if he remembers who he is and he remembers how he got there, that's what's going to keep him dangerous. Trophies don't make you dangerous. They might help you. It's a bonus. But if he knows who he is and he knows what he stands for, he will know that he doesn't put that team together and that staff together without people believing without the trophy. And if you remember what it was like to believe without the trophy, and you get a trophy and you still remember what it was like to believe without it, you will always be successful. Once you start feeling your ego and feeling your success and your perceived whatever, you got to understand this world. This world is like, they like you, they hate you. They like you, they hate you. They like you, they hate you. Indiana comes out, loses their first 2 games next season. The narratives, I can already write down on a napkin what they're going to be. I sat in a room full of media people, and I was listening to questions, and I was like, man, I've been in this thing long enough that I actually know, like, I'm not surprised of this or surprised. And I could sit here and tell you, we're going to get, like, I could write down the questions that are going to be in that room. Here's the 6 questions I think somebody's going to ask today. Oh, look, 5 of them were asked. Like, and it's no disrespect to anybody, but there's certain things that follow, like, there's certain things that happen in sports, and they provoke certain things. And I want to be in that room, and I say to myself, every time I talk to a coach or a player, literally anybody, I'm like, if this is the only time that I get to talk with them, I want to leave them with a lasting impression that I'm real, I'm honest, I care, I value my time. How do I do that? By asking a question that takes a couple seconds. I think about what I want to ask. I really sift through, if I have a bunch of them, I pick one, I focus on it, I have to believe in it, have faith in it enough to ask that question, because if I don't feel good about it 1%, I'm not going to do it. I have to think about it, agree upon it, ask it with my mind and my heart, and I look you directly in the eye the whole time. I can tell if somebody's rocking with me by how they, by them, the way that they look at me when they're answering my question. Everything I do has a purpose. I want Curt Cignetti to want to talk with me again based on our interaction. And that might be 2 seconds, and it might be 20 years. So it's about relationships. It's not about transaction. If Indiana becomes NIL heavy and it's all about that, if it comes, hey, we got a trophy, y'all suck, we're awesome, we're on the top of the mountain, they will fall off that thing faster than you can count 1, 2, 3. But if Curt Cignetti keeps himself in the lab, keeps watching film, keeps getting after it, keeps looking for those diamonds in the rough, keeps putting people together, keeps making smart moves, keeps working with the staff and saying, what do we need and how do we do it? Fernando Mendoza had a good season at Cal, and I don't remember anybody bringing his name up to me one time. Once. So when people say, well, Dan, he did what everybody's doing. They're going to find quarterbacks in the portal. He went and found a quarterback that y'all weren't talking about. He went and found a guy that you probably didn't even know who he was or where he was or what he was doing. I've heard people talk about the Cal quarterback now. I didn't hear anybody talk about Mendoza. I cover the ACC very thoroughly, and I've never heard anybody talk about Fernando Mendoza. I didn't hear anybody talk about him at ACC kickoff. I didn't hear anybody talk about him during the season. I did not hear his name once last season. But Curt Cignetti brought him in. And what did Fernando say? He said, this man told me that if I come in here, he's going to develop me into a better quarterback. And he did. So I'm going to say this to round out my top dog of the week, Curt Cignetti. If you want to know who he is and what he's about, to echo his words, Google him. We'll be back right after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Head out to K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare, top dog of the week, proudly presented by them and the place to bring your dog. So go see them today.
This is Jim Dispenza, owner of Game Point Sports Complex. You hear the same story across any sport that kids play and any sport that adults play. There's never enough places to play. That was definitely true with volleyball, definitely true with basketball. Could be cheerleading, it could be field hockey, which is what we're seeing now. Every sport has a lack of places to play, and I think Syracuse in particular is a place where it's really bad. Despite the fact that we've got a lot of athletic talent around here, we just seem to have not enough places for people to play, and they're going to different places. They're going to Rochester, they're going to, Buffalo. They're going all different places because we don't have a place here, and I felt like that should change. This was a long project from planning all the way through execution to opening the doors. A lot of work went into it, obviously, a lot of money, a lot of resources, and the dream always was kids being in the gym, having a good time. And I've always felt like sports is the most unfiltered joy that you can observe with people, that people can experience, because it is fun, it is a sense of accomplishment, it's all of that wrapped into one thing, and so watching kids going up and down the court with big smiles on their faces has been just amazing experience. I'm looking forward to years to come of that same thing. We've taken the time to invest in multiple sports, and then what we're finding is the mere fact that we have a large, clean, well-lit space has opened a lot more doors for us beyond basketball, volleyball, pickleball. Now we're having some interest from cheerleading. We've got girls field hockey coming in, and then also there's quite a bit of room for spectators. We've got bleachers, we've got benches, we've got a concession lounge where people can get food and drinks. We're going to have multiple sports going at the same time, using every square inch of this place for what it was conceived for, which is basically people to come in, have a good time in the sport that they prefer. We manage each situation differently. Everybody has different ability to afford different things. Some are bringing 10, 15 people, some are just 2 people. I've had a lot of situations where it's a father shooting around with his son, it's a mother playing pickleball with her daughter or with her son, and in those situations come up and we work with people, and that's allowed us to have groups from 2 people up to 30 people and have some flexible pricing behind it. We're an organization that is here to work with the community any way we can, and I guess part of it is just making sure that we have the flexibility to put together a plan that makes sense regardless of the size of your group. So in order to book time, the best option is to go to our website, gamepointsports-syr.com. You can click from there and sign up for events, sign up for your own particular training, sign up for birthday parties, all of that.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvelange, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks coming to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York is your one-stop sports card and trading card shop. Head over to GG Cards and Breaks Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6, Sundays from 10 to 5. They have singles, packs, boxes, graded cards, and they have upgraded. I already thought it was awesome the way that it looked, but they have added so many display cases because they have so many cards to show you. Now, everywhere you turn, there's a display case. You will find soccer, hockey, baseball, basketball, football, and more, including Disney Lorcana, Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, One Piece, and all the things to protect your cards, showcase your cards, and be able to travel with them safely. It is your one-stop shop to take your kid's spirit, no matter your age, and to go have fun, build a community, and connect with people in a really special way. I am so happy that I started collecting cards when I was a little kid because it's brought me so many friendships, so many beautiful connections, wonderful stories. And think about the College Football Playoff National Championship. I did a box break after Christmas. I opened up Bowman U 2025 college football. I got a D'Angelo Pons rare card, and then I got to talk with D'Angelo Pons about it at Media Day at the College Football Playoff. There's some really cool things. It makes your world really small in a good way, and it just builds these really amazing relationships. Something as simple as a piece of cardboard can bring a whole community together. How do I know that? Because I see it all the time with GG Cards and Breaks at the store and at trade nights like the one we had last night. With that being said, I want to talk to Murph about that. He got to witness his first ever GG Cards and Breaks trade night at the Wildcat Sports Pub on 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York. I love it because it is the bonding of two wonderful partnerships that I have. When GG Cards and Breaks spoke to me about having a trade night and potentially where to have it, I said, let me talk to Danny from the Wildcat. I sat down with Danny, had a meeting with Danny, told him the idea, and then brought the two together. And we met, we talked, and the bond began. They tried it out, then they did a second one, and now here we are all this time later working together and getting to see these two wonderful businesses build together and just bring our greater community of Central and Upstate New York, as well as everybody that travels in, like Murph, like Ryan yesterday, to build this connection that we have. It's truly amazing. It's fun. And I can't thank GG Cards and Breaks and the Wildcat enough for being open-minded to do something that was new to the area a couple years ago, but has become something that is now normal, expected, and hoped for. Murph, how was the experience for you yesterday?
It was a blast. I had my buddy Ryan drive up from Rochester, and he basically told me that was well worth the drive. I thought it was only an hour for him. It turns out it was almost 2. So give him a lot of credit for taking the ride over. I know he spent some money. He had some great interactions with some people. I had some great interactions with some people, bought some really cool cards, sold a few cards as well. I was more so there to buy cards than I was to sell cards. So, I'm not all that concerned with the fact that I bought more than I spent, which was kind of my plan. But it was a great time. The pizza was great. The wings were great. The beer was great. The people were great. I don't know when the next time I'll be able to get up for one of those will be. But it was a great time. I would absolutely do it again. And, buddy, it would not shock me if you guys started doing that monthly.
Yeah.
There had to be 100 or more people in that room. Easily. Like, at the peak at, 7 o'clock, that place was packed.
Yeah.
I didn't really walk around at all. I sat where we were set up at our table in the middle, had my cards out. I had my computer going. I was looking at, buying cards and stuff, and people were bringing me cards. I was buying, and basically that was the way it went for most of the night. I bought cards. I put them all in my inventory system in the computer and put them right out. Sold a couple of them pretty quickly, and I ended up with some pretty cool cards. I ended up with a really nice Ellie De La Cruz auto numbered to 10. I got early career Kevin Durant auto. Trying to think of what else I got that was good. I picked up a micro mosaic Jaden Daniels, some cheaper Jaden Daniels slabs, which I then sold to you. So you have those now. That Travis Hunter RPA, which is now yours as well, which I'm sure you'd love to show off to the people at some point. But I wasn't expecting to sell you cards at the end. You picked up a stack, you showed it to me. I was like, all right, I bought these pretty good, so I might on all the 5 cards, I might have made $10 on that deal, but I don't care because they were cards you wanted. I got them at really good prices, so I gave them to you at really good prices. And to me, if you sell them, sell them. If you keep them, keep them. Like I'd rather you have them and get into them pretty good. Where if you do decide to sell them, you can make a little bit of money on them. Because I do that enough already, right? Like I make plenty of money on the cards that I buy and sell, and the couple of the cards I got for you were $50 cards that I paid $38 for, and I gave you $40 a piece, which is 8%. Yeah. So realistically, when you can buy a card for 80%, you're usually going to be pretty good. So, considering I was able to get it for under that, and I was able to pass it to you at 80%, I'm always happy to do that. So I'm glad you ended up with a couple of good cards at some really good prices too.
Yeah. No, and it was such an amazing experience. It always is. It's like going to a full blast, fully fledged card show.
It was a mini card show.
Yeah,
literally.
Yeah, and that's what they've become. I want to tell the story, and Murph already knows where I'm going to go with this, but something insane happened last night, and I talk about how small the card community is, how you connect with people, and how you treat people comes back to you, because you never know who you sell to or who you buy from, how you're going to interact with them again. So here I am sitting right next to Murph, and we were right in front of the stage, like prime, like we were the welcome table essentially. And that's where I'm going to be from here on out. So I definitely appreciated that. And I didn't leave either. I sat at my table, and outside of walking over and getting food at the Wildcat, which was awesome, as it always is, or going off and telling a Bo Nix fan that I found another Bo Nix card because I knew he was looking for Bo. Outside of like those things, I didn't leave the table. And so I'm sitting there at the table, I'm doing my thing. Murph and I, are both there manning the tables, and I have this kid come up to me. And he goes, "Hey, would you happen to be interested in this card at all?" And he hands me the card, and I flip it over, and I go, "No way." And I looked up at the kid, and I knew exactly. I literally was teleported right back. What I tell you all the time, can't remember what I had for lunch, but if you hand me a card, I'm like, but literally, I looked at him, I looked at the card, I looked at him, and I went, I sold this card to this kid at the show, at the fair, at the last Collectors Fest I did, which I did really well on. I was over there, and I remember exactly where I was standing. I remember him. I remember the event, and it was this past year. So I looked at him, and I go, I sold you this card. And he looked at me, and I was like, I remember I sold you at the fair, at the show on the fairgrounds. And he's like, oh, yeah, okay. He's like, well, do you... and he kind of, at first maybe didn't remember, but then he was like, yeah. And I was like, he said, well, are you interested? And I was thinking to myself, I know that buying JJ McCarthy was really, when I was doing it, it was really difficult. And I tried to get a bunch of autographs of these quarterbacks early, and I sold them all. Bo Nix, I sold JJ, and I sold and Michael Penix Jr. And it was it was a move that I've made that like I did really well on those. And so
if you do the same thing with Cam Ward and Jackson Dart and Tyler Shuck, you're going to be in great shape doing it. Literally the exact same thing. Do the exact same thing this year. you'll do just as well, if not better, because you'll have the experience doing it now.
Yeah, and so I mean, Murph and I had this conversation before we went to trade night, and Murph goes, "Hey," he's like, we were just talking about stuff, and he's like, "Hey, I was like, oh, I got all these quarterbacks early, and I sent them out, and I think somebody at Gigi's had said to me, they're like, man, you were smart, like to get these when you did, and then to send them off like you were ahead of the game," and so that made me feel good because you don't always know. I mean, you try to do stuff and whatnot, but it's not my day to day. It's a part of my life, but it's not everything that I do. So, you want to make good decisions on what you buy and what you sell. And it's like the stock market, and so are comic books. And so it's funny when people are like, do you invest? And I'm like, well, in a way I have pretty much my whole life. I said, my cards and my comics are great because I can keep them forever or I can sell. So Murph goes, you'll get another JJ with the smiley face that you want, and you'll probably get it for a lesser price. So he says that to me going into trade night. We go to trade night. The kid comes up to me. He hands me the exact card that I sold him. He asked me if I'm interested in it. I know what I sold it to him for. I looked up what it was worth now, and the closest thing to it was PSA, and this is SGC. And so it was like, okay, whatever PSA says, it's a little bit less than that. So the only one I could find came up a certain price, and I looked at the kid, and I was like, I'll give you $65. Like that's fair right now. And he accepted it. And then, and it was funny because I didn't even know this. Again, you don't know who's watching and paying attention to you. Josh walked by and he goes, I knew exactly what was happening in that moment, and he was happy for me. And then I got to tell Murph about it. We talked about, I love this card. I was bidding for JJ. He was the toughest one to get. People were paying a lot of money for him. His cards were like,
oh my God, he was so hot over the summer.
Right, but this was even before that. Like people were going. It was even earlier that people were going, because I got a JJ RPA and sold it to Alex from Gigi's for 110. He literally walked up. He looked in my case. I didn't even know that he looked long enough to see it. He saw the JJ. He goes, might as well take that out. And I know Alex, when he tells you to take a card out, he ain't messing around with you. Like, that's the card he wants, or cards he wants. He's going to make you an offer, and you're going to talk back and forth. And it's funny because one time I gave him like $5 more than I wanted to, and then we did a deal afterwards. And after we did it and it was done, and he gave me the money and he walked away and he had the cards, I said, hey, Alex, thanks for giving me my $5 back. But like, so we've had fun with this. So to think JJ signs a bunch of stuff, but he doesn't sign everything with a smiley face. And I knew that from my research of him when I was trying to get a card of his. And I was in bids on eBay and I kept getting outbid. And I didn't want to go that high, or like people would have all these bids at the end. I finally got this card. And this card I think I had for $220 or $210 when I brought it to the show. And I gave the guy a deal. And I gave him like $40 off my asking price. So this card comes back to me. He asked me if I'm interested. I had already made money at the show. Ryan, Brendan's friend, came up to my booth, saw my Drake Mays. I had a whole row of them, and he went, you might as well take all those Drake Mays out. And I took them out, and he bought them all. And then he bought some other stuff. So I was like, okay, I'm making money. I'm doing my thing. He bought my Trevor Lawrence 4-color patch. So all this stuff, I said, all right. So I was like, I'm willing to talk to this kid. And I know that I'm not going to pay what I paid for this card before. And so I end up getting it, bringing it home. And it's so amazing that I was happy when I got this card. I couldn't wait to bring it home. I couldn't wait to show everybody because it had the smiley face. Couldn't wait to show Brendan. Couldn't wait to bring it into GG Cards and Breaks. Couldn't wait to show it to all of you here on Wake Up Call inside the Great Lakes Sauna City Studios. Then I sold it, and I was kind of like apprehensive of selling it, but it was one of the biggest cards I had. And there was this thing where like I sold like all my big cards. I had almost no slabs left. And now I'm happy that I got a bunch. I have more than I thought I had. So I had sold all my big stuff. And I was happy to sell him because I didn't want to wait. The season was about to start. It was like No, it was like the third week of the season, and I was thinking to myself, I got to sell this card. And Murph gave me some great advice over the years, like don't hold on to this stuff. You never know what's going to happen during the season. So that's in the back of my head too. So I sell this card, and then to make the money that I made, to make almost back what I paid for it, and then to turn around and get to buy it back. And it's the exact same card, a 10 auto, 9-5 card, the elements of the game, JJ with the smiley face autograph. To be able to get this card, to be able to sell this card, and then to not only buy a JJ auto, but to buy back one that is the one that to not only get a JJ auto again, get the smiley face, and then say, well, I really like that card, so maybe go look for the same card on eBay. This is the exact same card that I sold. It came full circle, and that kid that did business with me again. He bought from me, I bought from him, and we had great interactions both times. So how you treat people, you will see them again, and who knows, you may come across the card that you let go of, that you're happy you got money for, but you kind of want it back. And now I can say that not only did I get to do the deal, I also got to get the card back. I got the best of both worlds, and that's because God is all too poetic in how small this world is.
100%, man. And when you showed me that, I looked at you. I was like, is that the card? And you were like, yeah, it is. And I was like, I expected you to get another one at some point, with a smiley face and whatnot. Maybe probably not the exact same, the same card, but probably something pretty similar. And then sure enough, we were talking about it at the car, because I had said, it's a good thing you sold it, because that stuff just plummeted during the season.
Yeah.
And you could probably get one back now for like $75 or less. And you paid $65 for this, and I think you actually paid really good on it. You got a good price on it too. So I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, man, like you did really well in this whole transaction. Also, by the way, passing Marywood, so say hi.
What's up, Marywood?
But yeah, like I saw you do that and was like, damn, you killed it in this deal, man. It's like you sold it for $175, you bought it back for $65, and obviously, you feel bad for the kid that bought it from you because he's, he lost all that money on the deal, but at the same time, you got to think like, did everything, that I'm supposed to do, and I did, and folks. And we literally talked about this on the show before and after the National when I went. The thing was, you do not want to have the quarterbacks after, like, August 15th. To me, that's going to be my cutoff. If I still have them past August 15th, I'm in trouble. That's kind of at this point, that's going to be the cutoff. So kind of looking at that based on what we did last year, and we sold all the JJ, we sold all the Bo, sold all the Drake May. Mm-hmm. With where they were, the only one that's gone up, really, since the summer, is Drake May, for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
You could have bet on any of those guys, and you could have been wrong. It's 1 out of 6. And, Drake May guys, investors happen to be right, and he's still going up. I'm still buying Drake May right now and hopefully going to sell it, assuming they win this week. I'm going to sell it, after the Super Bowl or right before the Super Bowl, I should say. And that's kind of my plan because then, win or lose, they're eventually going to come down. So if I sell them before the Super Bowl and they lose, they're going to come down quicker.
Yeah.
If I sell them after the Super Bowl and they lose, they'll still come down, just not as fast. But you did really good on that JJ, and I'm glad that you ended up with the exact one back.
Yeah.
Because I could kind of tell in your heart, like you kind of wanted that one back. It's like, yeah, you could have gotten another one, but you wanted that one. And the fact that you got that one back, and now at this point, hold it. Now, do I think that, it could still go down if, he has a bad year next year? Sure. But if it goes down now, you're only losing $65. Or in theory, maybe only like 40 because maybe it was a $25 card. If you held it before, now you're losing almost 200. So, if you think about it that way, you're kind of benefiting there. You're definitely benefiting there. And now you can afford to hold it because essentially you made your money on it.
Yeah.
Like you made $110 off of that card essentially by selling it when you did and not buying it back.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is too is, I mean, and you're right. Now that it's in my possession again, and it's also out of 50. Like now that it's in my possession again, you're 100% correct. I realize now that I'm holding it here this morning, I didn't ever want a JJ McCarthy autograph. I wanted mine back. So, but that's the thing though. That's the stock market, and that's the hope, right? You sell it. I made close to what I wanted to make, close to what I paid. I was like, don't let that deal go. And now I look at it and it's like, I gave up the $40 or whatever to make the deal. And then I save over 100 when I buy it back. So, it's like, it really does work out, and it helps to go both ways when you're looking at how you interact with people and how you deal with people, to look at both sides of the street. And I said this to somebody.
Sure.
I said it to somebody last night. I go, if you're in this business and saying, I got to take care of me, I got to make money, like I want you to pay 100% comps. I want you to pay 110% comps, but I'm going to pay 70. I'm going to pay 65% comps. You can't walk up to a person and say, you're going to give me all these deals. You're going to give me all these cards for what I want. I'm going to feel good about it. But then if you come to my table, I'm going to screw you over. Like I'm going to sell you a $60 card for $200, but I want you to sell me a $1,000 card for $600. How you treat people always comes back to you. And I said that last night. I said, there's people that are in this world and in this card community that want to make as much money as possible and could give a hoot about you. Where I told somebody yesterday, I go, I want you to make money and I want to make money. I want to do right by you and I want you to do right by me. So there's a kid yesterday that follows the show, connects with me, PT guy doing physical therapy here in the community, and appreciate him, and God bless to him, and may God guide him and his loved ones, and may he be successful, and may he have a fantastic life, and may everything work out. And I hope you got your own practice someday if that's what you're going for. But I pray to God and the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, that you have all the successes in life because you have a good heart, you're a nice person, and I want the best for everybody no matter what's going on. But the good ones, the ones with kind hearts and just all around kindness and goodness, I really value the fact that you exist and that we've crossed paths to remind me that there's total strangers that you can meet and just have great interactions with, and you're a stranger the first time, and then every other time you see them somewhere and you want to talk to them. And he always comes up to my table, and I need to get up and walk around more. He always comes over to me. He came over to me yesterday. We started talking. He said, what do you think of Marcel Reed? And I hadn't really thought about Marcel. I didn't know a lot about Marcel Reed. So I looked him up, looked up some stuff, Texas A&M quarterback, looking at, and he handed me a card, and he's like, well, what do you think about, he asked me about Marcel. And after he asked me about him, he goes, well, like, is this card worth anything? So I'm looking up the card, I'm going through it, and I'm like dealing with people, having a conversation and looking this stuff up. And so I didn't like spend a ton of time and look at a ton of different examples, and there's all different versions of it. But I was like, I don't know, it's like a $20 card. I said something like that, like, something somewhere around that. The kid's always fair with me. I'm not going to nickel and dime him and whatnot. And he's like, well, I asked because are you interested? And I was like, yeah, I'll give you like whatever we did. It was like, this is what it's worth. We'll come down a little, but I want to respect you. So I think whatever I said, like it ended up being 20. And so I gave him 20, and then he went to walk away, and he goes, actually give me 15. I feel better about that. without him even looking it up. He walks away. He had already given me $5 back in a deal. We agreed on 20. He gave me a 5 back, so now it's 15. He walks away. I'm doing my thing. I'm at my booth. Murph and I are getting after it. And he walks back to me and whispers in my ear, hey, I looked it up and I actually think that it's worth probably like $10. So here's another $5 back. I'll work with that kid forever. Because he was honest. And then he was honest again. Like, he was like, don't do this. This is actually what it's supposed to be. I want to do this or that. So I appreciate people like that. And if you're in the car, and that's why I go to GG Cards and Breaks, because I know that Josh cannot sit with himself if he has a card marked $70 that's actually $30 and he wants to charge me $85. He can't live in that world. I think Alex, like, he took a card out and I was interested in this one card. I'm like, what's the best you can do on that card? And he goes, actually, he's like, I think that price is way off because I think that went down and I have to change the price anyways. And then if there's a card that's actually higher, they're like, if it's marked 100 and it's like 150 right now, they're not going to sit there and go, oh yeah, well, you know what? Like, I actually should charge you 200 and do this and that. They've always been good to me. And I can't tell you how many times Josh and Anthony, and Josh did it last night, I'll come in the store and they'll smile. And I'm like, what's going on? It's not my birthday. It's not Christmas. I'm like, what's going on? And Anthony will smile and he'll go, hey, we got something for you. And I can't tell you how many times they've handed me a card and there's a sticky note on the card that says Dan Tortora. And Josh walks in last night. He looks at me and he's like, hey, how you doing? He's like, I'm going to sit with you. He sits down. First thing, little kid, again, your kid spirit gets to live in this sports card community forever and always. He turns and looks at me and he has his box of cards on his lap and he goes, I got a card for you and I'm really excited about it. And he was smiling like it was for him. And he's got this big kid smile and all I can picture is Josh. I don't have to wonder what Josh would have been like if we had met as teenagers in high school because I get to see it in him every day. And he takes this card out. He's like, dude, I am so positive that you do not have this card. You've probably never seen this card. And he hands me a Damon Stoudemire card that's signed. And when they were signed back then, they actually wrote in Sharpie, like the number that it was, like 2,000 out of 3,000. So it's signed. It's got, like out of whatever. And it's a Sprint. Like you could actually scratch the thing off and you have like minutes to make phone calls. So it's a mini card that looks like a credit card that is actually Sprint minutes. Damon Stoudemire, Arizona Wildcat college autograph card. He was so excited to give that to me and is staring at my face the whole time. Like, I want him to react and be excited to get as excited as I am to give this to him. That's what we're in the community for. That's what I'm in the community for. So I love seeing people. I love doing deals. I love connecting. And there's people that have come to almost every GG Cards and Breaks trade night. And when I see, like, I will do business with those people because of how they treated me. And I'm like, I'm in it. I went over, like, the show was well done. I went over to Curtis and bought 3 packs of cards. Like Murph said,
yeah,
we're right next to each other and we're both doing our thing. And we didn't look at each other's cards. And I walked up and Josh was looking at his cards and I was like, you know what? Let me look. And I looked and I'm like, how the hell did he have a Travis Hunter? And I didn't know. And then I come around the side and I just
because I bought it last night.
Yeah. And then I picked up a bunch of cards and I just handed it to him and I went back to my seat. I was like, let me know what I said, here's the stack that I want. Let me know. And I trust Murph. And so I didn't look up a single card that I handed to him. I always look up card. I didn't look up a single card. I was like, him and I do business together all the time. We've done deals for years and I feel good about it. I handed him a stack. I went back to my seat. I ate my pizza and he came over to me and I wasn't in a rush. And it was like, here's this individually. This is what I think about this. And that was it. And I was like, all right, this is what I got in cash. Here you go. But
it was perfect.
This card community is a beautiful community filled with really awesome people. And if you don't treat people well in any community, including this one, everything cycles back. You always end up walking by a table or dealing with someone or seeing somebody that basically, I look at it like this. The sports card community is like an ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend. You have to treat people in such a way that when they cross your path, you're not thinking that they're going to come up and slap you in the face. And that's the world that we live in with the card community. Like, I go there with nothing on my mind because I'm so happy. There was one kid, this is one that I felt bad about, but it wasn't me. He brought a card to me and I'm like, oh, I think this card's really good. And he traded me straight up for another card. And my whole mindset was, I'm going to take this card from him and I'm going to sell it. Like, he's going to trade it to me, but I don't want to keep this card in my collection. I'm going to sell the card. He walks away and his friend's yelling at him like, that guy, he screwed you over and you're so stupid and da da da. And then they're talking to another person, and I'm literally sitting there holding the card, waiting for the kid to come back. And because if he believes anything they said, I'm just going to hand him the card back. And he didn't come back to take the card, but I remember sitting there going like, I know what it's like to make a bad deal. And I feel like I made out in this deal for sure because I'm going to sell this card more than I was going to sell the card that I traded him. But I was like, if this kid at all feels like he was swindled, that was never me. It's never going to be me. And if he comes back to me, I'll just hand it back to him. Because if he doesn't like the deal, I understand that and I get that. But other people would be like, you made the deal, screw you, I don't care. But hearing that in my ear of that kid telling him all that stuff, I'm like, that kid could be right or wrong, but there is no way that my reputation is going to be, you stole from somebody, you hurt somebody, you disrespected somebody, because I will never forget or ever trade cards with a guy who knew what he was doing to me and did it anyway. And when I confronted him on it, his response to me was, well, you did the deal. It's not my fault that you were stupid. I will never treat somebody that way. And if that kid came back to me and said, hey, 2 years ago, I sold you a card and we traded and I didn't think I should have. And, did you sell it? And I'd be like, yeah. He'd be like, what'd you sell it for? I'm like, I genuinely don't remember. I don't even remember the card. I know that I got it. I think it was a Ram. It wasn't Puka. And I can't remember. But if he came up to me and he was like, hey, I really didn't like that experience, I would literally go into my collection, find a card of value, hand it to him and be like, you go make your money on this one because I'm never going to let you feel the way that I felt. But there's a difference between making a trade, thinking you made out in the deal, and having no ill will or bad conscience about like, I did this to screw somebody over. And then there's like, I know I'm doing this to screw somebody over. And I just don't believe in that. So, if you make out in something, because I've done deals before where I'm like, man, those people were really nice. And I bought stuff from them because of a great conversation. And then I came back and I looked up the cards and I'm like, were they being nice to me the whole time knowing that they were screwing me over? And maybe they do and maybe they don't. But the reality of it all is, what is your intent? My intent with that kid was to get a better card than the card that I had was a great thing. But my intent with him was make his day, make my day. Have fun. Do something. Have an interaction. And after that interaction, if he had a bad experience and he came back to me, I'm all for the conversation. If I get a better card and he doesn't, you got to see, like, was my intent to do it or was my intent not to do it? My intent was never to screw somebody over. So I don't have a bad conscience about it. I felt bad when I heard somebody else talking to him, but my conscience isn't bad about that because my intent wasn't there, right? When they say the end justify the means, no, it doesn't. What are you doing? Like, what is your reasoning for getting into something? Are you asking somebody a question because you want to know, or are you asking somebody a question because you want to get them to trip? Like when I sit in a media room and I'm like, okay, they're trying to get this guy to say something and the guy's not going to say it. So in the card community, I want to be treated like that little kid. I want to be treated like I'm doing a deal And then I asked him, are you sure? Are you sure you want to do this? Yes. Okay. But if you come back to me, some people would say, all sales are final. You made the deal. It's not my fault. You're stupid. You come back to me and you go, hey, man, I don't really think that this was good. I'd flip him back. And here's the thing. I don't remember the one he gave me, and I don't remember the one I gave him. Because to me, I wasn't looking to screw the kid over. And I think it's sad that we live in a world where people think that way. Like, oh, that person's screwing you, or this person's doing that, this person's doing this. Sometimes people are perceived as good when they're doing bad things. Some people are perceived as bad when they're doing good things. But the reality of it all is, if you deal with me, I'm going to look out for you. And me, but both of us. And I can honestly say that because of GG Cards and Breaks, I deal with people that I don't worry about. I don't question. And I've spent good money with people, but then I've also taken those cards and made good money after that. And not even like, I'll give somebody $100 and then I'll be looking at this card and people are like, do you know what you have right now? And now I'm thinking to myself, like, man, that guy gave it to me for 100, but I can sell this thing for like 150. So there's that side of it too. He made money, but then here I am, like, did he know, like, hey, I'm going to sell it to you for 100 and I'm selling it to you knowing you might sell it for better, you know? And the kid that gave me the JJ McCarthy, he brought me cards after that. And I tried to pay him above what I wanted to pay and he didn't take the deal, but I was willing to give him more money because a lady brought the card to me. I didn't buy it from her because I didn't want to pay 100% of comps. He paid 100%. And I was still willing to give him more than I wanted to give him because I had a little, after that card went away from me, I'm like, oh man, I should really buy that card. And
yeah.
So when it came back to me again, I was like, I'm not going to be stupid twice. He didn't do the deal, which I understand. He wanted to hold on to it because he had just gotten it. But I was willing to go over what I wanted to because, he did me a solid when my card came back to me. I liked interacting with him. He's always been nice to me, and I've had good experience. So there was two things going on. One, I don't want to miss this card twice. Two, hey, you want to give this kid $90? You offered him 114. And if he didn't take it, that's fine. But I can walk away from that deal saying, I'm willing to give you more than I want to give you, which should show you, number one, that I want the card, but number two, that it's not all about me. If it was all about me and we were going back and forth between 120 and 90, some people will go, you know what? Screw it. You're wasting my time. Now it's 80. I came closer to 120 than he came to 90 because I thought the kid was fair with me multiple times. And it's all about fairness and connection. And yes, sometimes you make out better in the deal and you feel bad like I felt with that kid, but I'm also the person you can come back up to. And if I feel bad about that deal and that kid comes back up to me, if he wants to do a deal and my card's $90 and his card's 60, and I might turn around and go, you know what? I'll flip you for this easily. And then we equal the balance. I'll throw something else in. Or I'll pay a little bit more on this because I feel like we're missing $15 somewhere. So here's $15. And I'm okay doing that. Like there was a kid yesterday, he wanted a card and he paid for it. And something inside of me was like, this is what I want to sell it for. But I also feel like it's probably a little bit more than this kid should pay. So I gave him the card. He gave me the money and I go, hey, wait a second. And I pulled out another card that I'm confident I can sell of a player that is going to be hot or is hot right now. And I took the card and I handed it to him. So it's like, you give me $10. And then I'm sitting here going, well, I should probably have charged him $7 for those. So then I grabbed another card, put it underneath. So he paid me $10, but he's leaving with $15 worth of cards. Because if I feel in the moment that something's not right or I can do better, I'll just do something else. Because people did that for me too. I used to buy cards at Georgia Sports Cards back in the day on North Salina Street. And I would get in the car and there'd be 3 more cards in there. And I didn't steal them. And I remember thinking to myself, when the heck did he put these cards in here and why did he do this? But he was always good to me. And George taught me how to look for the Josh and the Anthonys of the world and how to know when I don't find them. So there's sports card places I will never go into because of the way that that person does business. I'll wish him well, hope the best for him, and want him to make $1 million, but it's not going to come from me. Where Josh and Anthony, if I go in there and there's a box at Walmart for $40 and at their store it's $60, I'll spend the $20 more because I love the way they do business. I love what they do. And I know that they might make a little more money that day than Walmart's going to make. But I also know that Walmart can price things a certain way because they're a corporation, where Anthony and Josh might have had to go buy that product for $55. So Walmart's selling it for $40 and God knows what they paid for it. Whereas Josh and Anthony are selling it for $60 and giving it to me for $55. So they're making $5. And I know that Josh and Anthony have done 100 deals with me where they've saved me $1,000. So what am I going to bitch about $5 for? That's the whole thing about this. And that's why I brought up that little kid. It's cyclical. I might make more on this deal, but then he'll make more on the next one. I'm going to do a solid because he did a solid for me. I was willing to pay that kid more because he sold me my J.J. McCarthy at a really great price. So I was willing to go higher because he went lower. It's all about finding a way to meet in the middle. And if people don't understand that, and I know that that was massively long-winded, but if people don't understand the value of give and take, you shouldn't deal with them.
Yeah, without a doubt. And, you know, the kind of the way it works is, you know, it's kind of the way it works is like you do something here in this deal where, you know, you make $5 here and maybe you save the $5 on the next one.
Yeah. So let's get into the CFP really quick here. I'm going to monitor this while we're talking about it before Murph and I finish up. The college football playoff has to make a decision today. And this is coming from Executive Director Rich Clark, who was on my show. You can watch it on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, and Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. You can also watch it by going to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Wake Up Call DT. So make sure that you go there and you check it out. We spoke about expansion as well as a bunch of other things, and we're now at that date. He gave me the official date. He said to me when I asked him about expansion, he told me that it is 12, 16, or 24. Those are the 3 options. So he was clear on what everyone's prognosticating and talking about. That's coming from the executive director. We have 3 choices. These are the 3. There's no 14. There's no 18. It's 12. It's 16. It's 24. And he also told me we will make a decision by January 23rd. He told me that on January 20th. So today is decision day. We don't know what's going to happen, but we're in a place right now that the college football playoff is going to make their decision. And Murph has to jump off, so we appreciate Murph being on here today. Want him to be safe. He used a camera that he was hands-free on, that while he could look at the road, he could talk with us and we could see him, but he was not able to be with us in the studio because he had to get home for a work event. I think he is able to say see you to us, so let's make sure that we give him a proper see you later. I never say goodbye. I always say see you. So Murph, yep. just a final note from you.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm sorry, I got a work call that I gotta go hop on here in a minute. But always fun getting to see you. Appreciate you, welcoming me into your home as you have in the past. And we had a great time. Great trip.
Yeah, it looks like we lost Murph here. I know going through his area, we can lose him kind of in and out because of where he currently is
Still
right
there?
now. Yep, we got you. Go ahead. Yep, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I'm. How far did you get? What was the last part you heard?
You were just saying something along the lines of like it was a great time that we had together, and then that was it.
Yeah, it was a blast, and obviously I'm going through a tough area here, but and I appreciate everything from you and all the people that we got to see up there, and getting to go to that Syracuse game the other night. That's a conversation for another day. The dome was cool. I love that was a cool atmosphere. I hated that I couldn't get another beer after halftime, but that was a me problem. But yeah, it was a great time. I gotta run and hop on a work call here, but it was fun to bookend the week, and I'm looking forward to, especially now that our event on Monday has been officially postponed. I will be with you on Monday. We don't have to worry about doing something on Sunday because I'll be around on Monday for it.
Yeah. Well, get to that work call. Do what you got to do. Be safe. Thank you for being hands-free with us today, but still willing to be on video. Brought the show through.
One hand on the steering wheel.
Yeah, on the steering wheel, not on the phone, which is important. Thanks for being here with us, practicing safe driving. I'm happy that I see blue skies, and I hope that you have blue skies in the news that you get very soon from God himself. We'll talk with you soon, Murph. Be safe, and happy to bookend the week with you, and happy to get to see you. Happy you got up for GG Cards and Breaks trade night at the Wildcat, and we'll talk in a little bit.
Sounds good, bud. I appreciate it. I will talk with you on Monday.
Sounds good. Be safe. That coming
Appreciate
from Murph,
it.
Of course. God bless to him and his travels and his work calls, and a hopeful call coming up here. The college football playoff, from what I'm seeing, I cannot confirm it with you yet. I don't have official confirmation, but I will just tell you what is out there, and I'll say alleged, because if it doesn't come from a source that I trust, I will say alleged. But we're looking at the fact that the college football playoff will stay at 12 for at least the upcoming season here. We're looking that it will stay at 12, not going to 16 or 24. Allegedly, the Big Ten and the SEC cannot agree on 16 or 24, and that might be the holdup. So for right now, without official word, the alleged decision that I'll continue to monitor today until I feel comfortable putting something out myself is that we're going to stay at 12. They will not be expanding to 16 or 24 for the upcoming college football playoff that will end in Las Vegas for the 2026-27 season. It looks like they will be remaining at 12. We will take a step aside to round out today's show, and I will come back to talk with you on some final points with the NFL playoffs and wrap up the show from the Great Lakes Honda City Studios right after this.
New York, great cars, great people, Great Lakes. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
5:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. He kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, hanging out with you where sports meets life. Make sure you head over to Chick-fil-A in DeWitt as well and see them on the corner of Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard. They're waiting for you with their new frosted beverages and floats. You can turn anything into it. You can have frosted coffee. You can have a Coke Zero float. So there's a lot of great things happening, and a now create your own going on at Chick-fil-A. So I already love Chick-fil-A. Now you add this other element into the mix, and they got these new cups that are coming in that are limited edition and really hard to get. So you got to get out to Chick-fil-A in DeWitt for all of this, as well as your favorite original, spicy, and grilled sandwiches. Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard. Megan Sorber and her team. Go and check them out today. We appreciate y'all who go to Chick-fil-A in Cicero and Chick-fil-A in DeWitt. Appreciate working with both of them, with Jimmer Sikowski in Cicero and Megan Sorber in DeWitt. So with that being said, NFL playoffs, we got a Sunday coming up here, folks, and you need to go get a Sunday at Carvel DeWitt and watch your son. How about this? Eat your Sunday while watching on Sunday. How about that? Carvel DeWitt and football coming up this weekend. I am sad that college football games are over, but the season never truly sleeps. So we know that Fernando Mendoza has officially entered the NFL draft. No surprise here, as I anticipate he will be the number one overall pick as of right now by the Raiders. So let's take a look at the football that is going on, the NFL playoffs. We know the United Football League is coming up as well, which I'm excited to see them back at it, and I hope everything works out for them as they start their upcoming season. It's all come down to the conference championship round, and those games will be played on January 25th. No games on Saturday, 2 games on Sunday. We will see the NFC first and then the AFC. We'll see the AFC first, then the NFC. So I don't know why it's flipped here. But on January 25th, this Sunday, we will see the New England Patriots at the Denver Broncos, the 2 seed against the 1 seed, respectively, at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on CBS. Then we will follow with the NFC Championship game, the 5-seeded Los Angeles Rams up against the 1-seeded Seattle Seahawks. At one time, the Rams could have been the number 1 team in all of the NFC and the number 1 team in the NFC West. Then Seattle took it over and held on to become the number 1 overall seed in the NFC and the number 1 team in the NFC West. These 2 teams had 10 or more wins in the regular season, fought in their own division, and have fought to be at the top of the NFC. One of them was going to be the 1 seed, one of them the 5 or the 6, between them and the San Francisco 49ers. This thing took till the end of the season to find out where everybody was going to be set within those last 2 weeks. And because Seattle took care of business a little bit more than the Rams, Seattle got the 1 seed, didn't have to play in the wild card like the Rams did, didn't have to go on the road, and have home field advantage all the way up to the NFL championship game that's coming to us in early February. This will be the 3rd match between the 2, and it happens at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox. I love what we got. We got the 2 top seeds in the AFC. We got the number 1 and number 2 overall seed, the top 2 seeds going up against each other. And we have the NFC West that was fighting to be the top team in their division and in the entire NFC. Now they have to go through each other to find out who makes it to the championship. And then Denver and New England have to go through each other as they were fighting to see who was going to be the number 1 team. It was between them and the Jacksonville Jaguars all the way up to the last week, week 18, of who was going to be the 1, the 2, and the 3 seed. So New England didn't get the 1 seed because Denver had a little bit more on New England. So they get to be the 1 seed. They get to be at home. But the unfortunate thing about this Final Four is one of them's playing without their quarterback, with Bo Nix having to have surgery and not be available for the matchup. I hope Jared Stidham balls out. I hope he has a fantastic game because I want this to be a fair fight. We already know the defense is going to show up for the Denver Broncos. We already know that the Patriots and the Broncos are going to give us a great game. We know this defense. We know R.J. Harvey and Cortland Sutton. We know that there's players that are going to make this an interesting game no matter what. I just want this game to be a fair fight. And I'm sad that we don't get to see Bo Nix out there. Just like I would be sad if we didn't get to see Drake May out there. So I hope it's a fantastic game, and I can't wait to watch it. I also hope that round 3 between the Rams and the Seahawks is a fantastic matchup. And I really think it will be. Matt Stafford, who people thought, hey, he's a good quarterback, but he never won in Detroit. Then he goes to LA, and I was like, I think they got a shot to win the NFL title with Matt Stafford within the first couple of years. They did it in the first year. Now Matt Stafford is trying to do it again, where some people thought maybe he should have been retired by now. He's still rocking and rolling. Like I said, this will be the third matchup between the 2 teams that are divisional foes. This season, the Seahawks lost to the Rams on the road 21-19 and then beat the Rams at home 38-37. So between the 2 games that they faced each other in, the games were decided by a combined 3 points. 2 points in LA and 1 point in Seattle. They've split their series 1-1. Whoever wins this will win the series this season, will be the top team in the NFC, and will fight for an NFL title. 3 points have decided a field goal between 2 games, not in one game. A field goal's point differential is what these two games combined has been decided by. 3 points over 8 quarters. This going to be a good one. And I hope that the Patriots-Broncos game will be a good game as well. We know that those defenses are going to be locked in. We'll see what Jared Stidham and the team can do on Denver's side. And we already know that Drake May and the crew is going to bring it on their end with Travion Henderson and the like. Excited to see it. Can't wait to see these games. I already picked Patriots and Rams with Papa Joe yesterday, so you know my prediction. And I look forward to watching those games with you this weekend. Thanks for being with us. Speaking of watching, thanks for watching Wake Up Call and listening to Wake Up Call up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on youtube.com and facebook.com, both /wakeupcalldt. And, of course, listening on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. We are with you all the time on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. You can find us as well on Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. You can ask Alexa and your Google Home device to play the latest episode of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or you can pick the episode. If you know that episode 1256 is one that you want to hear, you can tell her the exact number, and Alexa will go to that episode and play that episode and tell you who's on that episode of Wake Up Call. So make sure you search us on any one of these channels by typing in Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. If you're looking to play us on your Alexa device or Google Home device, you have to use the words play the latest episode of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or say the exact number of the episode, and they will go and find it for you. Speaking of going and finding something, make sure you head out to all of these wonderful partners in Central and Upstate New York. That is Great Lakes Honda City, as well as Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, GG Cards and Brakes, Myers Creek, where Murph and I went yesterday, his first experience there, which he really enjoyed, and we got to try something that could be put on the menu, and of course it's always a great day when you get to hang out with Cody and spend some time with him. Pizza Man, Ma and Pa's, the snack capital of the world, K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare, Chick-fil-A Cicero, K-9 Campground Dog Boarding, Mother's Cupboard, Avicoli's, K-9 Camp, or Game Point Sports Complex, Brian's Landing, Chick-fil-A DeWitt, and of course we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse. Find the Bobcats every single month here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora of the last 4 years, and we will wrap things up with the Bobcats after 4 years of service to these student athletes, the administration, and these coaches, as well as alumni. I love the Bobcats, and many of them have made me family, and I will always be grateful to that. You can find the Bobcat Buzz and over 200 episodes by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find our BSC Syracuse playlist. You'll also find the Bobcats on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com and go Bobcats. The Binghamton University Bearcats are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find the Bearcats every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time during what we call Bearcat Time, with student athletes, coaches, administration, and alumni joining the show right here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You can find all the content by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find the Binghamton playlist. The Bearcats are also on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to binghamtonbearcats.com and go Bearcats. The Onondaga Community College Lasers are here with us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We have a few more specials coming up in our partnership with OCC and our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership. You will find the laser content by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find our OCC playlist. The lasers are also on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to onondagalasers.com and go lasers. I want to thank you so much for being a part of the show today. As always, spending your morning and early afternoon with us means the world to me, including spending your nights with us when we're on site, on location, and when we're doing special broadcasts at all given times of the day. Thank you for being a part of impromptu broadcasts, on-site broadcasts, broadcasting from other cities and towns and countries, and of course, our normal scheduled broadcasts here with you Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Big time shout out to our exclusive studio partner, Great Lakes Honda City. Couldn't pick a better partner to be a studio partner with, and you can find them on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York, and you can find them all the time at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Make sure you go there for sales and service Monday through Saturday. I hope you have a wonderful day. From the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, find us on Facebook at WakeUpCallDT, X at CallDT, and Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT. God bless. No stress. Do your best. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Stay safe. Be good to each other and yourself. And remember that how you treat people is how you will eventually be treated. So do that wisely. Take care.